What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View, here to give you the top 10 free agency moves in the NFL of 2017. These are the moves that I think have the most impact and are the best overall decisions from free agency in 2017. Let's get right into the list. Starting at number 10. I have the Washington Redskins signing wide receiver Terrelle Pryor. Now, maybe it's just that I have a soft spot for quarterbacks turned wide receiver, or maybe it's just that Terrelle Pryor is really good. I think the Redskins found a replacement for Pierre Garçon, for Desean Jackson. They found another receiver to add to all these different weapons they already have. They already have the Jordan Reeds, Jamison Crowders, and those type of guys. But Terrelle Pryor is a guy that can step in. He's 6'4". He adds a dimension to this team and a passion to this wide receiver core that is unmatched. He's great with the ball in his hands. He proved that he can be successful as an NFL wide receiver, catching a ton of passes for the Browns, being their number one option. Now he can come into Washington with a very good offense, be a complementary piece, and still try and work his way over 1,000 yards. So Terrelle Pryor to the Washington Redskins for 1 year, $8 million. Very cheap, very safe contract. I think this is going to pay off for the Washington Redskins. At number 9, I have the Detroit Lions signing right tackle Rick Wagner, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, for the first time ever, the Detroit Lions are going to have an offensive line. The first time ever. I don't remember ever the Lions having an offensive line. But now that they signed Rick Wagner, legitimately one of the best right tackles in the NFL, ranked in 2014 as the best pass blocker at the position. You add him to a young tackle on the other side like Taylor Decker. You also bring in TJ Lang. The Lions and Bob Quinn are building an offense around Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's going to have the time to shine. He's going to be able to hit his receivers down the field. So Rick Wagner can step into the Lions starting lineup along the offensive line and instantly improve both their pass game and their run game. Bob Quinn, you're doing a great job. Keep on improving this Lions team. Rick Wagner is a very good start. At number 8, I have the Cleveland Browns signing another offensive lineman, Kevin Zeitler. Now, Zeitler, in my opinion, is one of the best young right guards in the NFL, because according to Pro Football Focus, Zeitler actually finished 4th overall at the right guard position in 2016 and excelled in both pass and run blocking. At 27 years of age, Cleveland is now getting a premier guard in the prime of his career. I love the approach that Cleveland has been taking in this free agency by shoring up their offensive line. They're building a team through the trenches, and that's really how you have to do it, in my opinion. There is no overpaying when it comes to offensive linemen. What the Browns have now done is they've allowed their running game to get stronger, and they've also allowed whoever comes in to be their franchise piece at quarterback, they've given them protection and they've given them some stability across the offensive line for years to come. Absolutely, really like this underrated move of Kevin Zeitler to the Cleveland Browns at number 8. At number 7, I have the bigger splash of Desean Jackson signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. D-Jax has found a new home in Tampa Bay, and I think the Buccaneers have just signed that other weapon that they've been looking for to help out their young franchise quarterback, Jameis Winston. They now have an explosive down-the-field threat to play across from Mike Evans. So simply by really having Desean on the field, your offense gets better already, because defenses have to respect Desean's speed. Sure, he's 30 years old, but this was a very solid contract for a guy that is still going to be productive, was productive in limited playing time last year. He does get injured on and off, but when he's on the field, he's an absolute difference maker. And he's also going to make the guys underneath in your passing game, like a Cameron Brate, for example, be more successful, because he's going to take the top off of a defense. Not to mention that I think Desean Jackson is absolutely going to maul the Carolina Panthers and New Orleans Saints secondaries. They better sign some people, because Deshaun's going to be in the end zone quite often. At number 6, I have the New York Giants signing Brandon Marshall. Now, you guys can see that I'm a big fan of the wide receiver signings thus far in free agency. And I just think that the New York Giants have really become a threat to win the Super Bowl because of this signing. This was one of the biggest playoff signings of any team. The Giants are a legitimate threat. They have a legitimate defense. They have legitimate pieces. And I think Brandon Marshall adds to these already great pieces. You think about the Giants defense, very good last year. Very good. And then you add Brandon Marshall to this pass game with already, not to mention Odell Beckham, arguably the best in the game. He's at least in the top 3. He's a superstar. And then you have the silent killer in the slot, Sterling Shepard, who was a rookie last year. Played very well. Now you add Brandon Marshall to the outside. Sure, he was a little off last year, but he had to deal with the circus in New York with the Jets. He had to deal with numerous different quarterbacks throwing him the ball, and he also had to deal with some injuries. If you think about it, Brandon Marshall was Odell Beckham before Odell Beckham. He was a superstar diva wide receiver. Brandon Marshall can help Odell mature a little bit. He can also help take the pressure off him in the passing game. I think this is going to be a huge signing with huge playoff implications because I think Brandon Marshall is really looking to get to the playoffs for the first time in his career and become that one missing threat that Eli Manning needs. At number 5, I have the Brock Osweiler trade. Now, I didn't say if it was Houston. I didn't say if it was Cleveland because the trade between the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans really impacts the free agency not only now but for years to come. The trade is good on both sides, in my opinion, but I especially love what the Browns did here. They essentially traded some cap space for a second-round pick. They had a ton of cap space. People are criticizing them because they traded for a second-round pick for cap space. Those people are idiotic because if you think about it, Brock Osweiler coming to the team, they're probably going to cut him, and they need to get to a certain amount of money per season, guys. You just don't get to keep that money. You have to get to a certain amount of money paid during a season, and that's what they're trying to accomplish with this. So pretty much, the Browns got a second-round pick for free, if you really think about it. And then on the other side of things, the Texans, they're able to now get rid of all this cap that they can give to Cleveland. They can get rid of this problem in their locker room in Brock Osweiler, and they can find a new replacement, whether that's Tom Savage, a guy in the draft, or a guy in free agency, or whatever it is. They can find a new guy to play quarterback for them that's going to be much better than Brock Osweiler, because this guy is pure trash, and he's not getting any franchise anywhere. And the Browns can essentially get that second-round pick. Now they have flexibility to rather add more players through the draft. They can move up in the draft. They can get a better position in the draft, or they could even potentially trade this second-round pick in a deal to get their future franchise quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, anybody? But, I just think that this Brock Osweiler trade benefits everybody involved, especially the Cleveland Browns. Let's go to number 4. The Jacksonville Jaguars sign A.J. Bouye in free agency. Very good signing, very underrated player, and cornerback, you guys, has become one of the most important positions in the NFL. They don't call it a quarterback league. They don't call it a passing league for no reason. The Jaguars have now signed themselves the best cornerback in free agency, and it's actually a pretty sweet deal. A.J. Bouye took NFL offenses by storm last season. He really came out of nowhere, and he was shutting down top wideout after top wideout with regularity. With the Texans in 2016, Bouye was a lockdown cornerback who allowed only 2 touchdowns and had 3 interceptions last year, while being ranked as Pro Football Focus's number 7 cornerback overall. So now you pair a Bouye with your second-year guy in Jalen Ramsey. This gives the Jaguars a duo that is one of the best in the NFL. At number 3, I have the Ravens signing Tony Jefferson. Tony Jefferson, very much like A.J. Bouye, kind of came out of nowhere last season, but he's one of the most impressive safeties in the NFL. The Ravens are getting a top 10 safety that's only 25 years old. He has phenomenal pursuit in the run game. He has great tackling ability, and he's an all-around versatile playmaker that has the capability of playing safety at both spots. He can play linebacker. He can play corner. He's done a lot of things for the Cardinals. Now he moves over to the Ravens. The Ravens needed help in the secondary, You add him to Eric Weddle, who's already phenomenal, and that's one of the best duos at safety in the NFL. So Ravens signing Tony Jefferson at number 3. At number 2, I have the Eagles signing Alshon Jeffery. The Eagles have finally found their legitimate number 1 wide receiver, and really it couldn't have come with a better contract because Alshon Jeffery is only signed for 1 year, and it's for $14 million. That might seem like a lot, but it really is not a lot because Philadelphia rather can like Alshon Jeffery for a season and sign him long-term, or they don't have to like him and they don't have to sign him long-term. But in my opinion, I think that they will really like him because Alshon Jeffery is a monster. He had a little bit of bad luck last season and the past couple of seasons with injuries and bad quarterback play, but he's a physical presence that is one of the best in the league at catching one-on-one balls up in the air, and I think this is Carson Wentz's best birthday present he's ever had. At number 1, I have the New England Patriots trading for Brandin Cooks. Now, in my opinion, how I looked at this top 10 was the best free agency moves are the ones that impact who's going to win the Super Bowl the most. And the singular move in free agency that affected the Super Bowl odds in Vegas the best was Brandin Cooks going to the Patriots. Brandin Cooks is a type of player and a type of athlete that Tom Brady's Patriots have not had since Randy Moss. He's a top-notch freak athlete who's an absolute speedy burner. The Patriots adding Cooks gives them a lot of flexibility to their offense because now you have Rob Gronkowski coming back to the team, and he demands double teams on almost every play, and now you have to worry about Brandin Cooks getting double teams because he's so fast that you can't have him be one-on-one or he's just going to run past everybody. This allows other Patriots players like Julian Edelman to have one-on-one matchups, which you do not want to see if you're a defense. So that's why I have Brandin Cooks at number 1. All right, guys, those are the top 10 free agency moves of 2017 in the NFL. Let me know if I missed any that you think should be on the list. If you did like the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more NFL content on the Bottom Line View. Thanks, guys, for watching. Peace out.